This is the Sailing World on Water, March 5, 2021. Here are highlights of the sport of sailing globally, in the last 7 days. When you don't have another AC-75 to trial against, you do what the Defender does. They get their best reserve sailor to race against them, in their fast support motor boat. For the Sydney 18-footer fleet in their last championship race, there's Mayhem at the bottom mark, in a fading breeze. We also have the finish. The West Marine U.S. Open Regatta has wound up in Miami, Florida, and from U.S. sailing we have their magic moments. Vittorio and Pietro have a look at the Defender's mast and sail plan. Boris Herrmann, of Sea Explorer Yacht Club de Monaco, explains his final day in the Vondee Globe. Giovanni Soldini has relaunched his huge trimaran Maserati for his 2021 campaign. Kiwi America's Cup expert Dr. Hamish Ross explains to Tom Amon, of Sailing Illustrated, the current pandemic situation in Auckland, and how it affects the start of the 36th America's Cup. Now over to Auckland.
Simulating the races is obviously, a challenge for us when we don't actually have an AC-75, within a boat length from us ripping around. Obviously we do it with the chase boat on the water. That can set up situations and put pressure on the boat to still deal with those moments in the pre-start where your timing's absolutely critical. So we can recreate those moments just fine. We try not make it about the result, it's more about the lessons learned. It's pretty easy for us to bend the rules a little bit with plenty of horsepower on the back of it. But no, we got to try keep it as real, otherwise you just lose credibility in a heartbeat. So it's all about just creating the lessons and understanding where the pressure points are in the pre-starts. And it's been very satisfying to see that click, and it's all coming together in a timely manner. It's been a long road for the last few years to get to this point, and it's now we're at the pointing end. Each week we get better and better. Now we get to put it all to the test and the real deal.
This is ugly here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all locked together. Vintech. Oh, boy, that is ugly. Yep. Meanwhile, Noakes Blue comes round the outside of them, carrying the winning group insignia. Rack and Famish has back onto port. Appliances Online's extracted himself.
That sounded expensive.
Bit of crunching and grinding there. Ilvay.
So Pete, this makes
Vintech is going to capsize.
This makes a definition of chicken winged up, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Okay, Noakes has extracted themselves from the melee. Vintech has got a man over the side.
I think that break was the tiller extension on the Rag and Famish by the looks of it. Jack's folding it in half.
Okay, Ilvay's just...
You might not need a tiller extension, Jimmy, for the rest of the race.
No.
Don't forget, Vintech was over at the start and didn't go back. They got a man in the water trying to extract the boats. But anyway, oh dear, that's messy.
Grinding noise.
There's a special magnetic force that joins them together, Peter, isn't
it? Anyway, meanwhile, the race continues on a very light beat up into Double Bay. This is going to be a very long race, boys, in this air. Breeze is not getting up in strength at all. We've probably got 8 knots at best. Split in the fleet a little bit. Some went to clear their air out on the starboard tack, but everyone's now on port tack, going in towards Rushcutters Bay.
Good thing with all that going on down the bottom mark and no breeze. At least we got to watch all that down there and then mosey on back up through the fleet.
So this is the battle, we think, for second. Shaw and Partners in the winning group. Behind the naval vessel, we'll see shortly, in a little moment, Finport.
And these guys might even be threatened by Tech 2 and Smeg, who've also gone to Bradley's Head.
There's Finport just popped out now.
Yeah.
There's not much in it.
No, he's across them.
You'd think he'd have to be across them, but Shaw and Partner sailing well here. They've got good speed.
They're fast, aren't they?
There's not going to be much in this, Andrew.
A bit less than I thought, eh?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
This is the first time you've been wrong today, Bucko.
Oh, well. Just wait till they get the header, Pete. Oh,
yes, now they got it. Winning Group attacked. Shaw and Partner's going to attack.
Well, Shaw and Partner's just trying to maintain second, I think, here, Pete.
There's good breeze between Winning Group, Shaw and Partners, and the finish.
Finport
looks good.
He's on the lay line, which is what he has had to do. Well, they'd be grumpy with themselves for putting the chute under the boat, but pleased that they got the right way up the last beat.
Well, he held his nerve, didn't he?
Yep.
Went left,
yep,
as he did the first time, which got him into the lead. So there's the Shaw and Partner and Winning Group going into Clark Island. And we're about 2 minutes from the finish. And Finport will come into the picture. 1, 2, 3, there he is. He will lead. Nice pressure. Just laying the finish, I would say.
On the face of a nice left-hander, eh? Who would have thunk that? And more coming too.
Oh, and a great battle for second between the Winning Group and Shaw Partners. Is this race over? Oh, Finport's run out of pressure.
No, he's got a good one coming to him though, Pete.
Oh,
here he goes.
Want to come? Yep.
Here
it comes.
Here he goes.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah. Just needs one good puff and he's safe.
Yeah, he's across them.
Yep.
Shaw and Partners camping right on the Winning Group.
Keegan's got one more tack to do. Keegan, Matty Stenner, Phil Marshall. The other blokes are in a smashing duel.
Winning Group have split from Shaw and Partners to the battle for second. So Finport laying up into the finish.
Yeah, he's laying the boat now on a big left. Big, good left.
Yeah, good job. Top job, Finport. After that problem they had at the leeward mark the last time, dropping the spinnaker overboard, they've got themselves back into it, and a very worthy winner. Terrific effort. There they go. Finport wins the final heat of the club championship.
And now the fight for second.
Winning Group coming in on starboard. Oh, Shaw and Partners have given it to the Winning Group, I think. Oh, will they?
No, the Winning... I don't know.
Yeah.
Shaw and Partners just
run out of wind.
One puff, not enough.
Winning Group will get second. On starboard as well. Shaw and Partners third. Good race.
So that's good. 35 seconds, Pete.
Yeah. Terrific effort from Finport. Very good effort. And good effort from the Winning Group and also Shaw and Partners.
Yep.
In a day that you have to say was very, very difficult.
We got it.
Oh, no way, dude!
Come
Keep
on.
dreaming! Keep dreaming, Tom!
Come on!
Team New Zealand longer mast.
Mozzie Sail did a very good video analyzing this trick the New Zealanders have made on their boat, maintaining the same height for the mast rotation point, but actually having a longer mast in the bottom section. So they gained what we can more or less say it's like 3.5 for square meters, because we can say it's 50 centimeters more or less the mast above deck.
Sorry, but actually the point where the mast is rotating and the mast itself, obviously, the mast is one design, so it's the same for all the boats, and the point of rotation is exactly defined in its height compared to the boat water line, let's say. So the horizontal line of reference at the bottom of the boat.
Yes, in fact, and it's fixed, so
plus minus 1 centimeter, no? Yeah. Something like this. So it's no way to move it up or down. But you can make an U-shaped section of the hull, so to have this point slightly higher on the deck.
Yes, in fact, this is what they did, and they gained a little bit of sail area in the bottom part, which is for certain ways it's a good idea, because actually you are having more area in the lower part where you have less heeling moment of that area. From the other side, what we can say is that that part of the sail is not that efficient. Actually, to do so, the New Zealanders had to build this kind of shields for the crew, which all the others don't have. So if we imagine it's like 4 square meter more of mainsail, then they have 8 square meter more actually of shape of hull, and so 8 square meter more, which are not helping much in the lifting part. No, they are dragging a section, but they are mostly dragging.
Yes, and then also these surfaces are actually slowing the wind speed, no, around them, no, obviously.
Yes, in fact, many will talk about the Venturi effect, which
mainly it's us Italian, no? Maybe yeah. We don't know if outside Italy they are all so much fans of
the
Venturi effect,
But the Venturi effect is an effect for internal flow, because its main characteristic is you have to have the same flow rate in 2 sections, while these sections are open. So
it's for pipes, no?
Yeah,
when
exactly.
You have a bigger pipe, and then the section of the pipe gets smaller, then you have the speed increases, exactly. While in this case the pressure drops. There is no
there is not this kind of effect, and
no,
the
because
opposite.
The air likes to go where it prefers to go, no?
Yeah, if there are some boundaries, the air tries to avoid them normally.
Exactly. So that's why Venturi effect is not working in this case.
Yes, in fact, and actually, so since these sides of the shields for the crew are close to the sail itself, the air is lowering on the sides, and so is actually normally slower than what it can be in an open flow, and so the depression on the leeward side of the mainsail is not that high, so it could be higher if there was no windshield. Also, one thing that Professor Edward Canepa, my professor, reminded me, there is the wind shear. So that part of the mainsail is actually in a flow which is less angled in respect to the boat. So the angle of attack of the bottom part of the mainsail is actually not that high. So this part of the mainsail is not acting very, very well.
Also, is even straighter, this flow because of these sides that are acting as shields for the crew.
Yes, so our opinion is that yes, there is more surface area for the sail. It's anyway not a bad idea, but probably the other teams already thought about this, and their compromise was not the one of Team New Zealand. So they choose another path, and actually they didn't like probably this kind of solution.
Especially Luna Rossa is originally was just a flush deck, let's say, yacht. Now it has small shields for the crew, but for sure is the mast rotation point is on the deck.
Yes, so they don't have that extra square meters of mainsail that the New Zealanders have.
The good part of Luna Rossa is that they don't have this extra drag anyway, while the good part I see of Team New Zealand is its attitude, which is very, very, very low in every aspect. So the boat is flying low, then this deck is very low, then the arm is very open, so then the hull is flat, so it's exploiting this kind of attitude at its maximum. So let's see if this is the key for the speed.
Yeah, for sure. They tell they have reached very high speeds, and for sure their slick boat is helping them going very, very fast.
Exactly. Okay, ciao. See you next time.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye bye.
Last day of the Vondee Globe! Woo! Oh my god! I have to find a couple of dives to get to the finish. Probably in an hour or so. Good breeze. It's a bit rock and roll. As usual, when you pull the camera out, it seems very civilized, but some moments are pretty interesting. Oh. Okay, breakfast time. A little break, recharge the energy. Woo! Recharge the batteries with a muesli. Yeah, short waves in the Bay of Biscay.
we have 3 levels. And level 1 is life is normal, and level 4 is everything is shut down. Virtually everything except for emergency services is shut down. So we're at level 3, which requires people to work from home if they can. It requires people can go to work if they can't work from home, but they can't see customers in a retail type environment unless they have special permissions to open, such as supermarkets and doctor's surgeries and items like that. So that's the state we're in at the moment. And as a consequence, the America's Cup start this weekend has been postponed until the 10th. It's Wednesday the 10th. And we're all waiting. This level 3 is for 1 week, which ends on Saturday night, our time. And so we're all waiting with bated breath for that announcement as to where we end up. At present, the number of community cases, this is infections within the community, is 0 in the last, I think, 24 or 48 hours, which is extremely helpful and promising. There's always a few cases coming in at the border, which are picked up and put into isolation. And indeed, in the last 24 hours, I think there were 2 or 4 cases that are being picked up in isolation. But so on the whole, as far as the Auckland community is concerned, it does seem promising. I'm told that we're now in probably the time of incubation of being much easier to pick up positive tests from the next few days. And I think it's going to be very important for us and for the America's Cup that we don't see any additional cases in the community popping out. So I'm quietly hopeful, and there's indeed many other people that if we don't see any community cases, we'll drop down to at least level 2. I would think that level 2 would go for a couple of days, 2 or 3, perhaps even half a week. And with a bit of luck, by Wednesday, we might be back down to level 1.
But you can race. You can race at level 2, right? You just can't race at level 3 or 4.
Yeah, the teams can practice at level 3, and indeed, as you're aware, they have been practicing the last few days. In terms of running a regatta, I believe they can do so at level 2, but crowds are restricted to no more than, I believe it's 100 people. So if they do decide to race in level 2, there'll be many public notices asking people to stay off the water, stay at home and watch it at home, and not to gather at the venues or at the bases or down at the viaduct. But we're not, it'll be interesting to see if we are at level 2 on Wednesday, whether they postpone further or whether they decide to get on with racing.
And at level 3, where you are now, that's funerals and weddings are restricted to 10 people. Gatherings are restricted to 10 people, full stop, right? So you can't have an America's Cup Village. You can't have people up there on top of North Head looking out at the race courses and so on. So that's tough on the ACE. But let's look at the schedule, because nonetheless, and you can tell us perhaps better than I, but I've been hearing about what's going on behind the scenes. You see yesterday, which is, it's Wednesday in New Zealand now, but Monday was Yacht Declaration Measurement Day. You declare your yacht, you declare your foils, and the so-called no change period began on Monday. The Italians wanted to extend that. Since there's no racing now until Wednesday, they wanted a couple more days at least to try to work on their boat and see if they could come up with something before committing it to measurement and committing the boat to no change, or the NCP, or the no change period, as we call it. Then, as you all know, Saturday was the first scheduled race day, 2 races Saturday, 2 races Sunday, both of which, as Hamish has just explained, have been postponed. And now race 5 and 6 on Wednesday. One can only hope we'll begin the series your Wednesday, Hamish, our Tuesday night. What do you think are the prospects now for that?
Well, as things stand right now, you'd say that the prospects are reasonably okay for Wednesday. If we don't see any more community COVID cases and community transmissions, there's hardly any reason to keep us in level 3. I mean, it's costing the Auckland region and the New Zealand overall millions and millions of dollars, as it does elsewhere in the world, to be held to a level 3 lockdown. So I would be very optimistic if we don't see any further cases that we will be at least able to go yachting as from maybe Saturday night, Sunday sometime. So what happens? I mean, we've lost a weekend. As long as people need to know that the rules are governed by the match conditions that have been published. There can be no change to those conditions. I guess there's only 3 ways they can change, and that is 1 by government decree. So if the government basically passes a health order that you cannot race, then I think everybody be bound by it, including the arbitration panel and all the competitors. Secondly, if they mutually agree to make changes, they can always mutually agree changes. And to a much lesser extent, it may be that the arbitration panel might order some changes. But as we know, the arbitration panel is bound by the rules, and it's very difficult for them to make an order that is completely contradictory to the rules. But I couldn't discount that from happening in a critical situation.
But the government is not going to change the schedule, right? They can't say, well, you got to extend the series. The series right now runs through, what day is that? The 20...
Well, the last scheduled day, including reserve days,
15th. Excuse me, is the last. 15th is the last race 13 scheduled, and then the 22nd. There's a whole week of reserve days beyond that. Correct?
Yes, and indeed the notice of race. Well, what we would call the notice of race, they call the match conditions, provide that racing will continue every day until completion. So there is no cut-off date, if you like, for the match. So we could still be here until the end of April, waiting to get all the races in, potentially.
Exactly. So if there's no racing on any of this calendar, even as late as the 15th or as late as the 22nd, and then suddenly New Zealand goes back down to, tell me what, level 2 or level 1, or Auckland does, you're saying that they could start racing on the 23rd and carry on from there?
Yes, well, they say that essentially they'll be racing every day until completion. So unless Ian Murray said there's no wind or there's too much wind, you'll be racing that day and every day until you get a result.